For right now, it does seem like we are trying to get our bands on in. So R&D research facility gone, and our second ban is going to be Flak Fort. So those are our first two bans.
Yeah, we are going to see once again R&D banned. So we're going to see. I'm really curious if we're going to see any domination maps throughout the rest of today. We so far have seen, of course, none, and it can be a lot more hectic, right? It takes a very certain team to be really strong at that particular game type. I'm not sure which teams it's going to be. Also, the fact that we don't have Zakuto Melee, who's very, very strong in that particular situation, can. It can change the tide of things. I'm being told to count to 15. So I'm going to count to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm not sure I counted to 15, but
I was a little worried there. We got closer to 14 and 15. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna make it. I don't know if he's got it.
No, okay, yeah, I mean, hey, this is tough,
man.
you know. Nobody said I had to count to 15. That was not a prerequisite of being broadcast for this tournament. All right, that was not in my contract. I'm gonna start writing contracts to say don't ever make him do math or count.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know never do, math on stream if you want to, if you feel brazen enough, but counting, that's a completely different one so far. But yeah, it does seem like we are good. Our first map is going to be Thermal Plant. And so we are going to get a domination map type. Ooh. And I like this because we had two linear maps, right? Two linear maps in where you have to push into a point or you have to go get a plant. This is going to be a lot more chaotic. This is going to be where we might even see a Zakuto Melee coming in, or maybe have a really big Death Ball composition coming out. Exias and Barbados. What are you expecting?
Exactly what you just said. I would be really excited to see Barbados. Barbados has been a suit that's been kind of, at first, of course, everybody was like, Barbados is broken because nobody knew how to play the game. Nobody knew how to move in this game. But in my opinion, the best thing, the most fun thing about this game is the movement. The mobility is ridiculous. And so once people start to learn, like, oh, I can actually just use my mobility and just kind of try to outspace you, and I can listen and hear your charge of your mace, we see so much less Barbados. We still see it a little bit, even in, like, for example, in Pilot Showdown, we saw a few people playing Barbados. Less and less over time, though, especially once we started seeing maybe like some more Zakuto Melees just kind of taking up that spot. But I think, in my personal opinion, regardless of any of that, Thermal Plant in particular is pretty good for Barbados. There are a lot of spots where it can just like hop up into a little corner, just like get a one shot that's not within the like line of sight of the rest of their team, and then you can just kind of sneak away. Or there's so many different corners that you can just hide behind. And of course, they can know that you're hiding behind them, but maybe you just need to get through there. So I really like this map for Barbados in general. I'd love to see Barbados. Not sure if we're going to see it exactly. I do expect, as usual, Exias. I mean, we got to expect the Exias, right?
Yeah, we believe completely saw it in our first match, either side. I don't think neither of them. No. Maybe Koi Boys on their defense might not have played it. I can't quite remember at this point. Sorry, my memory doesn't go that far. Like the Koi Boys themselves, my memory is like a goldfish, and just 15 seconds gone. Yeah, everything just keeps coming back full circle. The 15-second count. Now I get it. They wanted to see if I could remember that far back. But for map number 1, for Thermal Plant, I think that's going to be interesting for our newer viewers or players that aren't as familiar with Gundam. This is a domination map. There's going to be 3 points. One will unlock initially, and teams are going to fight over that. It's all about control, getting as much time. The first team that gets 100% over that course will be the winners. And then, of course, this goes into best of 3 as well. So it's not just going to be completely one-sided, one round over. You can see the notches there next to each team name. But here we go, getting into our first winners semifinals match of the day for the Breakout Series, Halloween Havoc. This is going to be interesting. Judo practitioners versus Gundam Unicorn, and we do have the Unicorn being picked up.
That's good. If it's not Unicorn versus Turn A, they've really like signed their what they have to use in blood here. But I'm so excited that we actually got to see all 3 game types throughout the first 3 games of the day, and we are going to see a pretty, I guess what I would expect, we are going to see the Barbados. I was looking forward to seeing it. It looks like that's the pick. We're going to see on top of that, we're seeing the Dom, we're seeing, they're just pushing in so quickly already.
They've got him isolated on the right-hand side, but the Zabi is low, and he will burn down to that Ashamar. Gonna try and pop that res, quite possibly. No, Eternal Chris will fall as well. And now Barbados is sent running here. You can see the run back coming out here. And this is gonna be so difficult now to try and go for that retake. That first initial fight, that death ball, playing around that unicorn, having the extra heals, wasn't enough for them. They got picked apart.
Yeah, I mean, Unicorn with Death Ball is, I mean, it's such a key part of that entire play style, and we see so many Death Ball strategies on these particular types of maps, especially this one in general, maybe Mount R&D as well. And so having no sort of like team synergistic like buffs just like that is going to be really, really tough for, I believe it's Judo practitioners. I need to make sure which team is which, but yeah, you can see there's already just quite the hold here on B. But for anybody, again, who isn't as familiar, it will be changing over. You can see the time right below the points can change over another 20 seconds. So they can't win off of like 1 or even potentially 2 points, I think.
Yeah, they're about to get full value though. The next point will be unlocking in 10, or excuse me, changing in 10. And so that's why they are not pushing for B any longer. The very unfortunate thing is after 2 team fight losses, that means, you know, this squad, they don't have anywhere near the G maneuvers. They need to try and find a pickoff here. Axe goes in. They've already lost out on 1. Sazabi trying to play that front line, but he is forced back, 383 HP, and there's the slice on in. They're going to try and hit that res, though, and this is a little bit ballsy, but they do force them back. Lil Chano now loses out on that Sazabi, and it's going to be another reset.
Yeah, this is such a great strategy on this map. There are so many different ways that you can get over a lot of this terrain, but look at this, so many people down. I don't know about going in right there. I think that might have been a situation to back off. You want to regroup, especially, you know, it isn't even active. I mean, it's just about to be active now, but now again, they're staggered with the Sazabi going down. I really like this, how far forward they're holding here, just to kind of stop people at the spawn. It's a pretty effective strategy if you've got the right team comp, and they're holding it with the Sazabi, making sure that nothing can flank it. It's working really well, and this is looking close to a shutout so far. We need to see a regroup into one big push, which is what's starting. We're seeing the unicorn here. I like it.
We do have the Marasai swap off for the team right now, and so they got off that Barbados. They weren't getting off the value with it, so they're going to try and find that pickoff. They do have a Gundam to try and break the shield at this point, and they do have the Trans Am, but here comes the screaming Nimbus from the other side. Omni James ends up picking up 1 more there, and now the Sazabi left on his own. It's going to be another full hold for them, and now they are creeping forward to getting that first round win. They will get that full 91% before point A changes. Now they just need to tickle it a little bit further there. We're going to go to the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, we are going to see all 3 points. It can go kind of like a random set of points. There have been games where you've only seen like 1 point 1 time or 0 times. But now this is going to be one big fight. This is very doable. You know, of all the game types to come back from, I think domination is very, very much one that you can do. You can just hold one particular spot. It won't change while you're in overtime. But oh my gosh, we're seeing the Trans Am, then that exit just running through the entire team. It doesn't look like they're going to be back in time to grab this first spot. They need to make one final very quick push before this 8.7% is done.
And they only have the Gundam Unicorn G maneuver. And really, I don't think that's going to be the huge difference maker for them. They're going to try and come in from the side where they avoid a lot of the sight lines from that left. But you can see that push on in, the Ashmar punch. Now they are forced back. They're not even going to be able to touch the point. That's going to be Judo practitioners getting the first round here.
Oh, that was such a good usage of punch. That G maneuver just called punch. I love that it's just called punch. I love that move. It's really interesting because it's not obvious when to use it, right? Like you can just like hit 2 or 3 people with it and maybe stun them, but you know, using that to keep people off of the point in that exact situation in that hallway was super genius. There are ways that you can knock people into the air with it. It's actually like omnidirectional technically. You can aim it whichever direction you want. You can use it down from the air. And so I think the best Ashmars are the ones who just use it really well. And I loved that exact situation to use it, and that was a strong shutout from Judo practitioners in that first round.
Yeah, and it was just a really strong snowball effect, right? Out that initial death ball push coming up from Gundam Unicorn, really thought they would have the extra staying power in that fight with the Unicorn having the extra armor heals when they tried to make that high ground push onto point B. But when you saw the Sazabis kind of getting isolated, they kind of separated on their targets. You saw one diving straight into the back line, others going for the Sazabi, and from there kind of communication looked like fell apart just a bit. But here we go, round number 2 now, as we're gonna have point B unlocking once again for our first point.
Yeah, point B, it's so important to try to steal this high ground as fast as possible. You see, that's why everybody's running up there immediately, and we're going to immediately see the Sazabi go down. We're also going to see the turn A go down. That was actually an axe that probably got through the Sazabi shield potentially. So we're going to see a tough spot. 3 people already on Gundam Unicorn going down. They're kind of staggering back. Doesn't look like they're going to go for a full regroup, or maybe they have to now, but B's definitely going to start off going to Judo Practitioners.
And speaking of compositional changes as well, they went for the Mephis. So no Gundam Unicorn for Gundam Unicorn at this point, but they do at least have a turn A on their side. But this is looking like another snowball right now for the Judo Practitioners, picking up more kills. They've already got 10% here on the point. There was almost no contest on all 3 points in that last round. It's just gonna be a clean sweep, a Pale Rider pickup coming out to try and maybe supplement the healing. I don't know if it's the healing or if it's the damage, what they're looking for in these fights now.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to get a pick, honestly. And especially, I mean, I really did like the Unicorn. Unicorn is infamously quite strong on this map. Mephis, also, you have a lot of opportunities to lose line of sight to the person that you're trying to kind of repair. It doesn't really have too many spots that it can fly to and just shoot from above, which is sometimes for the better. But wow, we're seeing a lot of confidence now from Judo Practitioners, moving out almost the, spawn camping at this point. I mean, it's not really spawn camping, but pushing at least out to their spawn, getting some shots from the side, trying to say, hey, look, we got to move over to C now, but I'm going to get you as weak as I can beforehand, maybe try to stagger you. Looks like most of the team's going to be healthy. This is another one of those spots where we just got to see Gundam Unicorn get something great here.
They actually take out the Sazabi, so that's going to be a large chunk of the HP pool down, but you can see the pressure still coming out on the other side. They're not able to push back that choke as we go over to point C for our second point now. They're trying to get the res, but the push comes on out. Mephis will try and back away with 106 HP, but he gets sniped mid-air by the Gundam RX-78s, and that's going to be another point going the way of Judo Practitioners, despite losing out on their Sazabi first.
Yeah, that's so impressive. I'm surprised that Sazabi went down. I mean, that was really great focus by Gundam Unicorn, but the fact that they weren't able to capitalize off of it, again, really impressive. And it does seem like maybe the Sazabis, especially on this map, right? There's so many different ways for an XC to flank you. There's so many spots where the like you said, RX-78 can just mace you and stop your shield. It looks like these Sazabis are melting pretty quickly, kind of on both sides. I wouldn't be surprised if we did end up seeing maybe a switch, but I mean, hey, they're still valuable. They do a lot of damage, and as we, of course, I say that, one comes in, and actually, immediately what I just said, those Exias, so tough for everybody. The tankiest units, the squishiest units, doesn't matter. You just don't want to see an Exia.
Again, we're seeing some great G maneuver discipline coming out from the Judo Practitioner side right now. I believe Hades only used for that one. We did have a little bit of a Batcat coming in from the Gundam Unicorn squad. Sazabi was able to get onto point C, get a little bit of meter there, but it was only 5% before he was turned around on. You can see, again, another pick, and here comes that screaming Nimbus on the other side. Eternal Chris getting right into the thick of things now, as only one remains alive. That's going to be Mephis falling once more. And Judo Practitioners, before the point even unlocks, they will control it now here on the A side.
Yeah, that's the problem I was saying about Mephis on this map, is that a lot of times when you do fly kind of above, you're still in a spot where you can very easily get picked off, and you're not really getting great line of sight on, for example, like anybody in the building here, anybody in the building on B, or anybody at the bottom side of C. So I don't know about the Mephis pick. Oh, wow, great shots, catching in the dash. Gonna get a res, but again, they've already engaged on the point. We're gonna see the RX-78 ult. It's not gonna actually hit anything, but they're staggered. There is at least one pick from Gundam Unicorn, but they're down 3 units. I don't know if they can take this.
Yes, Sazabi tries to get onto the point at the very least to try and get us a little bit of extra time, but with one more pick, that's going to be it. Eternal Force ends up going down, but ultimately, that's the Judo Practitioners getting the 2-0 on our first map here in the winter semifinals.
Yeah, really, really strong kind of death ball play there. The Exia, which we didn't really get a chance to see like too much of on the front line consistently, was playing in, I think, a really smart style, and that is kind of why we haven't had a chance to see them on the front line all the time. Is they would wait for the perfect moments, especially to take out the Sazabi, always in unison with another suit, right? It would never be like, I'm just going to try to 1v1 the Sazabi. I'm trying to, just 1v1 any of these units. It just comes in, it breaks the shield, it takes down their front line, it zips away. It's just constantly playing that flanking game, which is what is so strong on Thermal Plant. And again, I really, really like the Unicorn pick, but I just think they weren't able to find the fights that they wanted. They maybe weren't able to get in the positions they wanted fast enough on the points, and they were just kind of playing catch up the entire time, which definitely can happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this is how the rest of the set's going to play out, because again, domination is a very different game type than the other two. I would say even like those two are somewhat similar. Domination is its whole own thing, and each map on domination has its own like strengths and weaknesses based on which suits you have and your playstyle of your team. So I'm curious if we're going to see domination again after this, or if we're going to go back to one of the other two game types.
Yeah, I mean, that map in particular does lend itself extremely well to the brawlier types, but on point B, you can play a little bit more long range. I do like having the Gundam pick out here, I think, especially with the prevalence right now of the Sazabi. We got to see how good the Hyper Hammer is. I mean, I think every Sazabi main has learned how strong the Hyper Hammer is when it comes to it. I believe they got a little bit more range on it. I can't quite remember exactly from the patch notes exactly. But yeah, you still have to be wary of that. And you can see how strong the focus fire was coming up from either side, trying to deal with it. But overall, I think Judo Practitioners did an amazing job. Right now, we're just waiting on map number 2. We'll figure out what that pick will be. Our first map was Thermal. We've had 3 separate maps so far. So I'm glad to see that we do have kind of varying range of what their teams want to play. And the bans have been kind of different as well.
Yeah, and again, like I said, 3 different game types in the first 3 games of the entire tournament, so that's super sick to see. We see a wide variety of stuff. I am probably expecting not to... Oh, okay, yeah, so we did get actually the information. It's going to be Underground Command Center, so of course, eventually we're going to get a repeat of a game type at least, but again, this is going to be a new map that we haven't seen.
Yeah, so it's going to be Underground Command Center, and I believe... we did have one destruction map before when we were on Quarry, and so this one's a little bit different though, right? I mean, on Quarry, we got to see that trying to push that first waypoint can be extremely difficult. You're just forced into chokes, right? Whether it's on the left-hand choke or the right-hand choke. Here though, it's a completely different playing field, quite literally, because it's an open field. There are sniper hills to play off of, and so you kind of have to play this one if you want to like play outside in front of the waypoint extremely well.
Yeah, it's a very, very different style. I would kind of say maybe that Quarry itself is kind of a weird map within how like much cover there is moving up to the first waypoint. As just as far as like a destruction map, this I think is a little bit more par for the course. And yeah, this is you can see teams, even good teams, right? They sometimes don't make the correct choice on the first point of this map. This one isn't as easy as like, well, we're just gonna all sit on this one particular spot. Like, you know, for example, on Quarry, like, yeah, you can all just sit on the waypoint and then wait to see if they can break through or not, and then eventually you just go back to your points, right? This one, it's like you can hold up a little bit further so that they don't just like, you know, kind of pincer you between both of the different sides of the mountain in the middle, the little hill, I guess you could say. You can hold even further back with stuff like, you know, maybe like more longer range stuff, like just, you know, RX-78 or I don't know, and anything that has longer range. You can hold really far forward, like there's certain spots in the river where the enemy team doesn't have line of sight of you from their spawn, and you can try to flank people. I've seen people do that with like Exias or like Zaku 2s. I don't know what's the most effective thing. You know, the teams I think are still trying to figure out the best places to hold, but there are a lot of different ways you can do it, and this is a pretty long run back. So if you make a mistake trying to hold there on defense, it is probably going to be you holding inside this base that we're currently seeing.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Their long-range options come down to, well, Exia doesn't have damage drop-off, and Turn A doesn't have damage drop-off either, but you might want to have that sniper option, especially because of that long run back. So for right now, it doesn't seem like much is changing. They do have that Mara side. That was what they ended up picking up after the Barbados didn't work out for them when it came down to missile base. So we'll see. This is definitely a composition that can work. I think the Sea Snake, when it comes to defending, or maybe in a post-plant situation on A or B, can be incredibly strong.
Yeah, I like the fact that, I mean, honestly, yeah, not just A or B even, but like also just this forward spot, because you can kind of stand either in that little middle rock area. Oh, I love this. Just kind of getting some intel. I mean, of course, Salisbury also does have that scan, which we did see come out, but just to see which direction they're going, they are going to see that a lot of them are going to be going to the left side. So it looks like a lot of the team is shifting that direction. I love the usage of that to try and just get information.
All right, they're pushing out in. They already lost out on one, and that's going to be the Mephis. The Mars side does end up picking up one, but that's just going to be a trade. You can see now the defense just kind of falling to the wayside here as the charge up. Hyper Hammer connects, and that's going to be one more falling. And Unicorn side is the Judo Practitioners will go ahead and continue to push up. You can see this run back, though. They're not going to be able to make it to the waypoint. That is going to be picked up by the offense, but now it's all about controlling this choke. There is an option to try and flank from the right side, but they are challenging, forcing 2 of them back.
Yeah, now where you plant here is huge. This isn't just a difference between a left side or a right side. This is a huge difference as to how you hold and the space that you have to hold. But right now, I mean, it's not looking like there's going to be too much of a difference. Judo practitioners just pushing in, getting off so many picks. There's a huge stagger even on defense. When you stagger somebody on defense, you know you're doing things right. They are just going to plant on A. That's going to let them hold a little bit longer spots, either kind of to the left of it if you're looking at the bomb, or all the way down to the right, or just from their kind of doorway. And just seeing the team that they have, it does seem to make a lot of sense. They don't have a lot of super close-up units. They've got a lot of kind of mid-range units. So we're going to see a regroup on defense up top here around B. They're going to move down the ramp, and let's see if they can make this.
Now they're going for that defuse at this point. Nice connect there from the Methus. He's trying to body block for the defense, and they do actually get the disarm on that mega charge. We'll see if he can get this res, but no, he'll get cleaned up. 5 HP on the Methus as he backs away. Teammate steals away the health pack. He was on 5 HP. Luckily for him, though, here comes the res.
That's one way to heal, right? You just get down and then you get res. That is technically like a health pack. Maybe it's efficient. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. This is a really tough spot. Yeah, you do see a lot of teams try to hold their spawn. There's not a lot of, you kind of get actually a choke point on defense here, and it's this little spot that we're currently standing in with the Methods. This little ramp, you either go above it, which is a little bit safer unless they're holding B, or you kind of go downwards. So holding either the just the room that B is in or the hallway that we saw them holding earlier works really well, and they're already at about 75, maybe 60% on this bomb plant on A. I don't think they're going to walk away as much as last time. It seemed like maybe they didn't really know where the enemy team was coming from.
Ooh, nice pick off by Fusion there, but we have the Hades out from the other side, and that's going to be cleanup. 9 more seconds, and there's going to be no opportunity to try and go for the defuse at this point, and they do at least trade back for 1, so quite possibly maybe come in. Nope, that's going to be point A gone, and now they have to set up for the point B defense. Now, this is going to be interesting. Are they going to try and play for the waypoint, or do they just try and maybe play for that defuse? A lot of teams, you know, you've got a lot of ground to work with, but you can easily get picked apart. We'll see in just a moment.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to at least somewhat try to hold this waypoint. They're going to stand behind these little, I don't actually know what they are, but the little bits of cover. Now, you can kind of get flanked on the right side. That hallway up on the top right doesn't go all the way through, so certain units can use it to their advantage, but eventually you are going to have to push through kind of one of these 2 main corridors, and currently they are just going to hold on the point. I think it's a really great place to hold. They all have to turn a corner. They really get choke pointed, and we're already going to see that Dom go, or I'm sorry, the Sazabi going down, and the Dom going down. There we go. I was correct the first time. I shouldn't have questioned myself, but this seems like a really good hold.
Yeah, that was just a great opening with, again, utilizing that Screaming Nimbus. We're seeing why the Dom is so strong. He's got great damage. His dueling is fantastic. His HP at 1200 is one of the highest in the game. Only matched by what? Melee Zaku, I believe. So one of the few units that can survive a headshot from the gym sniper. But the discipline right now coming out from the Judo practitioners is really good. At this point, though, as they charge forward, you can see them trying to play around that choke. They get this full scan as well. And so you don't need that sniper scan at that point. But they've lost out on Gas Man, and they've lost out on their Sazabi as well.
Oh, we saw the turn A G maneuver go in right there and then just immediately get picked off. It seemed like a little bit of like maybe miscommunication. Although, wait, no, never mind. They actually got a ton of picks after the G maneuver failed. So I guess it's a distraction, right? You're like, wait, what's that flying above us? Let's take that out. But then you forget that there's people right in front of you. Yeah, I don't think it actually got that much mileage. That can be a pretty tough spot to use it because you don't really have that much space above them to actually fly. So you're pretty vulnerable. Still, though, this is okay. We're going to immediately see the ult coming out from the Dom to push through. This is a huge push, but already 2 picks. The Gundam going down and the Ashamar, and it looks like that Sazabi is going to be 1 HP away, but wow, really great escape. Still staying in, surprisingly.
Yeah, they kite back from that funnel. You saw the G maneuver coming out now, and the offense just backing away. 3 minutes and 27 seconds left to go as they're finding their picks now, but lost out on a few. You've got to be careful on this push. And so they are finding it a little bit difficult to just try and get that waypoint. And I'm glad to see that they are playing a little bit more offensive here on the defense.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot to be able to start holding at. This little choke point right here by this little tunnel, but it is a very, very good spot to hold at. The big thing is that you are so close to that first point that a lot of times, by the time the enemy team has taken the first point, they can already move past that choke point before your entire team respawns and gets back together. It does look like they're finally going to break that choke, so they really need to make this happen. It looks like they vastly outnumber them on the waypoints. This is a great first start to Judo practitioners taking this. Wow, they are just running over them.
Yeah, that's like Hades used just to try and get that waypoint though, but if they can snowball this one a little bit further and maybe possibly get that plant onto B. I don't know if they want to drop down for that A defense, but end up losing out on Eternal Frisk here on the Exia now. And you can see the Dom dropping a little bit low, has to be careful. Screaming Nimbus just to stay safe. You do get that extra armor and that heal, but that's kind of interesting here. Now they do get that point down onto point A. We'll see if they can defend this a little bit longer. No, they'll end up losing out on one more. Here comes the retake.
Yeah, that was a really interesting usage of the ult. I mean, it did manage to keep them alive. It did manage to push some people off the bomb. They still haven't defused it. Of course, a lot of people are going down on the side of Gundam Unicorn here, so this could be pretty tough. Oh, doesn't quite get the down here. Trying to go for the little sneaky res, but the exit from behind, that's going to be so good to try to clean this up.
Yeah, you can see they're trying their best to defend here. They do have a few more mines to pop down, but they seem to be all on point B. When the bomb is there on point A, we do have that energy cable for the defense to come in, give them a little bit of extra sturdiness in this fight, but they end up losing out on two more there. So they're kind of staggering in for this defense. I think there was an opportunity to come in as maybe as a 4-man, 5-man, try and play off that energy cable, but no, that's not going to be enough. And so that's going to be Judo practitioners going down, Gundam Unicorn picking up that round with what, about 2 minutes left, I believe, left on the timer. No, it's going to be a minute 28 left on the timer.
All right, yeah, honestly, that hold from Gundam Unicorn was huge. The hold at that little choke point coming down the tunnel before the second waypoint. So if there is a pretty quick push, you know, if we see Gundam Unicorn playing as well as they're playing in that particular spot, they could very much put themselves on the board here. You know, I'd like to see some close games. The big question is, are we going to see any different units here on this first point? Again, I am surprised that we're not seeing any gym snipers basically at all. We are, once again, it doesn't look like we're going to. Of course, they still have plenty of time to switch, but I think that getting that first pick can be huge. And like you said, this game, I feel like more than almost any other type of hero shooter that at least I've played with kind of like, you know, choosing different heroes at your own spawn. I feel like this game is very accessible for that, right? I've seen teams that actually will go Unicorn, use its ability to push out of spawn, and then immediately go back and switch. I've seen people that have gone sniper, gotten one single pick, 2 picks, maybe like just shot a few shots, even if they don't make it work, then go back, switch, because you're so close to your spawns are so close to those first points that I think it's maybe even a skill that a lot of teams are underrating. But hey, we're not seeing it so much right now. Is that really a Barbados pick? Am I seeing that correctly? I don't know if that's going to be switched.
Yeah, Barbados, turn A, and their Exia for their damage, essentially. We've got the Suzabi, who has been the mainstay across all the compositions, along with Dom as well, and the Methis. So double support for them, triple DPS along with that tank now, as the Judo practitioners go on their offensive push. Coming out from the other side for Gundam Unicorn, we saw them pushing out onto the right side. We'll see if they try and maintain something similar, but you can see how they're playing this a little bit more differently. One on the right-hand side, isolated is the Suzabi. He does have that axe throw if he needs to get out of danger. They might have already dealt with him as they now charge forward. The stun comes out. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Gasman falls.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice spot to hold. Once you can get within this little, I don't know, rock, big rock. We need a name for that. We need a name for callouts in this game. Every pro player, please, please, please start figuring out what callouts are for this game. But yeah, you can hold, you can kind of repair in there. You can get a little bit of health back, and then you can continue this push. Right now, I love this spot actually that we're seeing Judo practitioners hold. This little kind of hill behind there. It's definitely technically a deficit, I think. Just this little. I don't know, you can use it for cover. You know, you can use it for the fact that the ground is going so far down for cover, and they're using it very well.
Ooh, Gasman just tries to stick that miracle res, but it will not be enough. Nice hold from Gundam Unicorn now, forcing back the Judo practitioners. On the other side, when Gundam Unicorns were going for their offensive push, it was pretty clean onto that waypoint, and they were able to transition that extremely well onto that A-side plant. Now you can see the scan coming out, catching almost all the members on Gundam Unicorn squad here, but they're not really able to do anything off of it. The longest range option they have is of course going to be that turn A Gundam, but he doesn't have that one-shot capability that the GM sniper has here, and I feel like they could possibly try and open things up, but they're going to stick with the death ball for now and try and make another push on the right. But you can see that one dash gets hit by that stun, but he will be safe for now. This is a zombie challenge, but the axe has already been used in the kite back coming out from the Gundam Unicorn squad. They're just, again, doing a great job of just falling back. Eternal Chris will fall, and here comes the push from the rest of the Gundam Unicorn squad.
Oh yeah, I love this kind of kiting back, you know, standing around this waypoint, just making sure you're not overcommitting, you're not getting picked, making them push forward, and then moving back to your team. We're seeing especially from the Sazabi, and I think that play is so strong. We're seeing this being held for a really long time. This can be, again, an infamously kind of tough waypoint to, well, okay, there it is, finally gets captured, but an infamously tough waypoint to hold for like the entire game, right? There are a lot of different angles. It's very easy to get picked kind of randomly, especially with a sniper, but they held it for a very long time, and now we get A, which can be a pretty tough spot to grab and hold. This can be tough from both sides based on kind of who can get the better position.
Don't get to see that often where you just get one shot basically on that dom, but right now the offense, as they're trying to go in, they're just taking all these like separate engagements here left and right, and it's not looking too coordinated on this push. And there might be an opportunity here for the Gundam Unicorn squad to actually push up and take that waypoint. Never mind, it's not quite fast enough. And now the tables might get turned onto them. Finding themselves out here in the open. The Hyper Hammer's already been used. There's an opening now for them to go in, but the axe has already been used. Not really for much effect at this point.
Yeah, the axe isn't the longest cooldown in the world. Ooh, speaking of the axe, though, really nice. Oh, this is a really aggressive. Oh, to take back. Oh, never mind. They're actually going to turn around. I thought that would have been really cool to kind of, you know, say, hey, you got to come catch me or I'm going to take back the waypoint. But regardless, they are going to push off of it. That means some pretty good communication, I would have to say, because that was kind of a random time to use that ult. They took great advantage of it. That's going to be, it looks like almost a full team wipe. And then they're going to get some reses, just pushing them all the way back to this waypoint. It doesn't look like they're going to want to try to take it. They're just going to hold back behind this little ramp.
Yeah, they saw the 4 respawns coming in. There was absolutely no opportunity there, but they had that idea. Maybe going with the Screaming Nimbus, they find the first 2 picks, but then the offense started to hold things down. Now the axe comes in, 600 HP, but the Methus heal is here for the Sazabi. They're trying to find their opening now, but a G maneuver has been used on the other side. We've got the energy cable up, and that's going to be the funnels coming in. Now the Gundam Ultimate as well, and that will not be the finish. The Sazabi gets up just in time to dodge out from that Gundam Ultimate, and now they're going to try their hand at pushing in from the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think that this is a spot that not enough teams push in. There are a lot of different angles you can push in from that left-hand side. You can catch people very unaware, and yes, you can go directly to B. Now, the immediate punch! With 1 second left, that was hilarious! You got ganked. It's like a rogue in an MMO taking you out of the backstab. That was hilarious. The single punch, too, just to stop it, that might be really valuable, right? As soon as B gets planted, you have to everybody move back. You have to reposition entirely, so I really like that choice.
Yeah, just denying that is so strong because they already control that left-hand ramp, and once you control one of the ramps, it becomes so much easier to try and take B points, but it's going to be another knock coming out from the Dom. The funnel's coming out from the Sazabi, but he's burning down already, 800 HP. He does have that energy cable, but they're not going to be able to get onto the point and get that plant. That's going to be Gundam Unicorn taking the 2-0 in this series.
Wait, that's Gundam Unicorn taking 2-0? I thought that was Judo Practitioners taking a 2-0. Am I wrong? Am I completely backwards on the teams?
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a little bit, you know, caster see what caster saw, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Overlay sometimes, you know, can be a little bit confusing, but yeah, that was just a great 2-0 coming out from the Gundam Unicorn squad. They did an amazing job. We saw them even on the missile base. It was such a clean sweep.
Oh my god, my camera is frozen on the funniest face of all time. Oh no.
I'll join you.
This is cruel. Thank you. You gotta hold that though for the next like 30 seconds.
Okay,
right,
I'm not much of a ventriloquist, but I'll try my. Okay, there we go. No, I saw a flash on the screen for a quick second there. But yeah, I'm glad that we did get to see another destruction map. We're seeing a lot. We've seen 2 separate maps so far, or at least 4 actually over the last 2 series. We have one more semifinals match, but as we try and fix this issue, I think I'm just going to go ahead and send it to break right now to save my co-caster. Lux, can we go ahead and send it to break as we get